Hey everybody, I know it's been a while since you've seen us in the studio, but today we thought we'd like to share 3 key pieces of advice that we've received from some of our guests over the last little while. Enjoy.
We're in a business of ideas, but more accurately, I think we're in the business of selling ideas. And that selling process is constant in what we do, in that you have to sell it to your partner. If you have a creative partner, you're selling ideas to them, and then associate creative director, and then eventually the creative director, and then the account group, and then the strategists. And that's the idea hasn't even left the building at that point. It's a constant process of selling and of influencing and of persuading. So, it's not an easy thing to do, but it's one of on the topic of voice, I think the best writers do know how to write with different voices. They still stay true to their own, but it's obviously going to be a very different thing talking to a 15-year-old high schooler than it is somebody who's post-retirement. Right. And good creative people, I think, know how to make that switch with ease. They can be agile. They can adopt their thinking, and of course that goes for our bosses too. And we've all had good bosses. We've all had bad bosses. And sometimes you were able to sneak stuff through based on knowing how to sell to them well.
50%, maybe more, is the sell. Because one of the misconceptions I had was that once you had a great idea, we're good. I thought selling it was a technicality.
Yeah.
But it's
isn't it obvious?
But it's amazing.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know why we're having a meeting about the meeting to sell it. I remember thinking that in an internship. Why? Everyone likes it though. And it's great, it's amazing, and they were like, no, we got to sell this to the client though. And I was like, what are you talking? Why wouldn't they just love it? We all love it. So that was an eye opener. That probably seems a bit idiotic looking back on it now, but I didn't realize how much of the sell had to go into it. Pre-sell too. Some clients you need to get on the phone with before, chat about it, see where their head's at. Make sure you're not completely coming out of left field on the day, because as we all know, that happens. Where you have those creative presentations where you can literally hear a pin drop, and it's so awkward, and you just are so way off base with what you're presenting them. But great presentation skills can take a mediocre idea and make it seem incredible. A great comedic timing. If some of the best, I will say though, some of the best creatives I've ever worked with, who continue to be some of the best creatives, kill it in a room.
Well, it's not just selling work. So selling work is huge. Mm-hmm. Knowing your audience and going into the room and understanding that your pitch doesn't work for everybody. So you have to adapt. And you have to understand that there's an audience who's waiting for information from you, and they're going to absorb that information differently than the last audience you were in front of. And too often I see teams go in with a shtick. They have a thing that they like to do, and you hear them talk about it. It's like, oh, they're so good in the room. Right. Because they have this duo. I read the script and they act it out. Sure. And it's like, that's not how you do it. What you have to do first and foremost is understand, what is the person who you're selling to looking for? What's worrying them? What are they hoping to get out of this meeting? What do they need to know in order to feel good about moving forward with the thing that you're putting in front of them? And understanding that insight helps you shape your presentation in a way to make sure you're solving that problem for them.